I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All 6 of them.
Who are you?
Once you tell one lie, you've always got a lie to support that lie, and that's what these girls get caught up in. They have to keep dancing.
The night James was murdered, you said you told your husband everything.
I didn't do anything.
I mean, you're really caught in the middle now. You're gonna have to do something here.
This is how we're gonna get caught when we turn against each other. It's over. You think it's over?
But you knew what was happening. You let it happen.
I mean, what the hell are we gonna do now? What you want is a lie.
I mean, the woman's a murderer!
Somebody help me!
Unless, of course, she isn't a murderer.
Mortal Thoughts.
Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another video. If anyone's interested in requesting any type of topics, reactions, reviews, re-reviews, pretty much anything random, you just send a request either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both things are down below in the info box. And this is a paid request from JS. And it's for a film called Mortal Thoughts from 1991. This is a film I had heard of because of the cast. Demi Moore, who I'm a big fan of. Demi Moore, I would say, is one of my favorite actresses. Even if the film's not so good, I still enjoy her in. But I loved her in G.I. Jane. I think she was a fucking badass in that. G.I. Jane could kick the shit out of Wonder Woman, in my opinion. I liked her in Disclosure with Michael Douglas. Very sexy, spicy. I liked her in Nothing But Trouble with Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd. So I've been a fan of hers for a while, and she's the star of this. I think she does a really good job. She's, I think, one of the best things about this film. You also have Glenne Headly, who's in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, among other movies. Bruce Willis, he's not in the film too much, maybe half of the movie, but he plays a real son of a bitch that you just hate. You're supposed to hate him. And Bruce Willis, I don't know if he's going through health problems. I heard a rumor that he's going through memory loss problems. I don't know if that's leading up to resulting his work in movies. Of late, I don't know. If that's the case, I'm sorry to hear that. He should retire and relax and enjoy life. Because as an actor, he's not putting in the effort. And for people who wonder why I keep knocking Bruce Willis of late, you watch a film like this, and he took the role of being an asshole and ran with it. I mean, he had energy, and when he's trying to seduce, and he's talked to Demi Moore, and he's not really drunk, but just being a dick. He's like, show me your titties. And he's just smiling, just being a total fucking jerkwad. He did a nice job on his performance. Harvey Keitel, nice to see him in there. And the movie is done as sort of a mystery, maybe a little film noir, little thriller aspect, where Demi Moore is being interviewed by Harvey Keitel at the police station. And she's given the story about what happened, and a lot of the film is flashbacks, intercut with the current timeline of her being interviewed by the police, in particular Harvey Keitel. I'll get to that in a minute. So she's telling the story about her and her friend Glenne Headly. Glenne, she's married to Bruce Willis. And even from the get-go, things were not working out. Bruce was abusive, a real son of a bitch, will give the baby to his wife, even though she's working at the hair salon, so he could go off and fuck around. And Demi Moore's just watching from the side, going like, what the hell? And at one point, the wife tries to poison Bruce Willis with rat poison in the sugar, but Demi Moore stops it, because as much of a son of a bitch, you know, murder is another thing. And it's telling the story about what happens with Bruce Willis's character, what happens after the event, dealing with that character. I will say this. The positives, the performances I think are solid. Demi Moore I think did a really good job as the lead, showing a mix of anger and worry and anxiety, and I don't know what accent she was going for, but I didn't mind it. I thought for the location, where it took place, it fit fairly well. Some of the score was interesting in the opening. The opening was kind of creepy because it starts with these home movies and this very soft, creepy choir music. And that pops up a handful of times, that music, to a rather effective manner of usage. You also have John Pankow. He was in To Live and Die in L.A., partnered up with William Peterson. He was also in Monty Shines, the George Romero film. He plays Demi Moore's husband. So there is stuff to like with the movie. At the end of the day, I would say I'm kind of iffy on it. Just look up info. I guess the co-writer, Claude Curvin, he not only he helped write the screenplay, he was going to direct this film. And I guess a week into it, for some reason, another director, Alan Rudolph, he went in to direct. I don't know all the details. And it says here, the film shoot was partly improvisational, and the conclusion of the film was undetermined until it came time to shoot it. The director recalled, no one really knew what the ending would be. A half day before we shot it, we got together and decided what the ending should be. I can see that. I think that's a big, huge detriment to the film. Because the ending tries to have this twist, and number one, it doesn't come off as much of a twist. I'll get to that in a minute. But two, when the twist happens, it makes you go back and go, well, wait a minute, what about this? And how did this work out? Because, spoiler alert, I have to go into spoilers to continue. We have the unreliable narrator. This is something that was done in The Usual Suspects after this. Fight Club. I do think those films did that better compared to this, because at least with The Usual Suspects, you have that scene where he's piecing together all the little things that linked into his story and what he was making up. Fight Club, at least we visually see, oh, it wasn't just Edward Norton, and it was just Edward Norton here, or wait a minute, it wasn't Brad Pitt, Edward Norton was that, in that scene. It gives us a nice visual montage of, okay, we hit you with a big, loud shot to the head. Let me help the audience piece together a little bit of what you thought you were seeing and what was really going on. We'll help you out a little bit. Not the case here. Just spoilers, you find out that the story she was telling, that Glenne Headly, she had killed Bruce Willis. No, Demi Moore had killed Bruce Willis because Bruce Willis tried to rape her. And she killed him in self-defense. And then Glenne Headly said, no, we could drive to the hospital, but I'm going to let him bleed. And let's keep us between us. So she didn't kill it, Demi Moore killed him. But again, it doesn't come off as much of a twist because so many times within the movie, Harvey Keitel will pick apart her story. Pick apart her story, pick it like, wait a minute, you said this, wait a minute, you acted this way, wait a minute, you did He did it so much. So many times they went back to Harvey Keitel picking her story apart that very quickly you go, well, maybe there is something to this. Maybe there is something to what Demi Moore is saying. Maybe she is lying. So then the twist doesn't come off as a shock or any of that matter. Also, even the story the truth, if she admitted, hey, I killed someone in self-defense who tried to rape me, I think that would make actually, I don't know, I don't want to be more lenient. It seems like either way, even if you say you were with her and you helped her cover up, that would still get you jail time. Either way, you're fucked. But at least here, if you admit, hey, this guy tried to rape me and I defended myself, at least that could be something more than just I helped someone cover up a crime. I don't know, it's one of those things that number one doesn't come as shocking, and number two, when you think about the film, or if you ever do decide to watch the film again, you go, what's the point? Because what I'm seeing is not really what happened. And if she lied about that, then it makes you go, well, what else did she lie about? That's the pitfalls if you deal with the unreliable narrator. Like Fight Club, at least that was done in a very interesting way of showcasing someone with split personality, or American Psycho, the way that's done. That was done, it just made it more interesting that if you did rewatch it, it'd be a more intriguing viewing experience. I just don't think that'd be the case here. Because then, even if I'm thinking about the rest of the film, what did happen, what didn't happen? Did it really happen when Demi Moore's talking to Bruce Willis and saying, you used to be a happy-go-lucky guy. I am a happy-go-lucky guy. The way she cleaned the van, is that the way she did it? When Glenne Headly, at one point, she's in isolation and she tells Demi Moore, we need to get rid of the other worker in case she talks. And Demi Moore's like, no. Did that conversation ever happen? Or did Demi Moore, was it flipped? John Pankow, the husband, threatens to leave Demi Moore. I'm going to leave with the kids. You're not fit to be their mother. You stop. And if you try to stop me, I'll let the cops know what you guys are doing. Okay, John Pankow threatened Demi Moore. I'm going to take the kids. I'm leaving. You try to stop me, I'm going to tell the cops what you two did. Later on, John Pankow is found shot and dead, and led to believe that Glenne Headly killed him. But even after the film, I still don't know. Did she kill Demi Moore's husband? Maybe that's the case as to why now she's lying about, oh, Glenne Headly did everything, so she killed my husband? But then it makes me go, well, wait a minute. If Demi Moore's the one who sliced Bruce Willis right in self-defense, why would Glenne Headly murder Demi Moore's husband? Wouldn't that be even worse? Yeah, she killed him in self-defense, and she could say, tried to get to the hospital, he bled to death. It'd still be bad, still go to jail time, but then to go murder Demi Moore's husband? Like, how would that make things better? It would, especially when she's not the one who killed. To me, it would make more sense if Glenne Headly had murdered Bruce Willis, and that's why she killed Demi Moore's husband, to keep that hush-hush. The fact that she didn't makes me go, well, wait a minute, how did she go that far? That's the thing. All these questions arise, and when you have an ending that they didn't fucking think about till the day before, it's just not that satisfying. Because then what happens is that she tells the story, Demi Moore, she leaves, she sits in the car, then the movie takes us back to, no, Bruce Willis tried to rape her, she cut his throat, Glenne Headly is driving, Demi Moore's like, wait, you're going the wrong way. No, I'm gonna let him bleed. If we take him to the hospital, he somehow survives, he'll try to kill both of us. Boom. Then Demi Moore goes back to the police station. You get the idea that she's going to tell the whole truth. Then the movie's over. And I don't think it was that satisfying an ending. There's stuff in it that doesn't make sense. And again, well, if that didn't happen, if she lied about that, what else did she lie about? It's not one of those things like Fight Club where it goes through various other scenes. No, it was actually Demi Moore who's saying this. No, apparently the only, based on what the movie tells me, the only thing she lied about is she's the one who killed Bruce Willis. But so much of the other film is Harvey Keitel picking her story apart, and because of that, then makes me go, well, did this scene happen? Wait, John Pankow threatened Demi Moore, I'm going to take the kids. Are we led to believe that Demi Moore killed her husband? But the movie doesn't really go much in that direction if she did. It doesn't like make us visualize, oh, Demi Moore shot her husband. Demi Moore did this. No, that's what I mean. Unlike other films, it's more irritating when you think back on it. And part of me just wishes they would not have done the twist in the first place. That it was a story that this is a that tried to help her friend who was being abused cover up her crime, and the pitfalls of friendship, of covering for a friend, and how the ups and downs of that, where she wants to protect her friend, but at the same time, maybe if they switch it around where it was guilt of Bruce Willis was a real son of a bitch, but this crime was committed, I want to help her because what happened to her and she was being abused, but maybe that guilt or that knowledge is susceptible in her head. Like something more of that dramatic angle other than this. This is a mystery, and then the mystery at the end is like, that's okay. You could guess perhaps that what happened, that, or at least something similar. Did have the scene where Bruce Willis like, show me them titties. Yeah, I don't know if I call this a rank because there's some nice acting performances. There's some nice pieces of direction. There's a sequence where Demi Moore, Bruce Willis, and the wife character are in a van, and the wife is ready to drive right into a vehicle, and the way it's edited to Demi Moore's face, what are you doing? And Bruce Willis get more and more worried, and then her face to the side of the van, cut to the vehicle approaching. The way that's all edited, I thought it was a nice way of building tensions and effective direction. Maybe that's more credit I should give to the editor. I don't know. Like I said, pieces of the score, the acting, that I would say are the positives. The story, the ending, the twist, the reveal, it's very meh, dwindling. It's very disappointing. Like, it's nothing that shocking. It's nothing that great. And again, it makes you go, well, wait a minute. It picks apart a lot of the movie's points earlier in the flick. And, you know, moral thoughts, it's not a film I would ever watch again. And by this point, I'd given away the ending, but I did say spoilers. If that still doesn't bother you, and you like Demi Moore, you like Bruce Willis, again, about halfway through, because the character's dead, he doesn't appear, because the second half is covering up the crime and more so. If you're doing a Bruce Willis marathon, you want to see all of his movies, or you're a big Demi Moore fan, or you're a sucker for mysteries, I'll tell you one thing, this movie loves Dunkin Donuts. There's at least 2 or 3 scenes where a bag of Dunkin Donuts, like someone's carrying Dunkin Donuts, and you see right there, Harvey Keitel is standing next to a bag with Dunkin Donuts. Of course, because he's a cop, so he's got to have a fucking Dunkin Donuts, sponsored by Dunkin Donuts. Bruce Willis, abusing his wife, trying to rape Demi Moore, getting cut in the throat, sponsored by Dunkin Donuts. If you're getting abused by your husband, if you've always been raped and killed someone, you need to cover up a crime, stop by on Dunkin Donuts. Dunk yourself that guilt away from your soul, as long as you have a roll at Dunkin Donuts. You need to dump a body? Dump it and then go to Dunkin Donuts. You dunking bodies in the rivers, you Dunkin Donuts in your coffee. There you go. There's your commercial for Dunkin Donuts. That if someone knew editing and took the movie Dunkin Donuts commercial, that stuck in my head. Like, that's weird. I know it's product placement, but just very adamant. That's like if I had a fucking McDonald's bag right here, it'd be less obvious than this. But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. This review sponsored by Dunkin Donuts. Bye bye.